This is KVCI, the blogspot.com, YouTube Boston G.B.R. I'm George Boston Rhymes, and I'm in Valdosta, Georgia. As you can see, the front page of the Valdosta Daily Times, a body found at Lowndes County High School, old gymnasium. And I was called last night approximately about 12 o'clock to the father's house, and I went over and I talked to them, and we find out that no family member, according to them, were permitted to see the body of their deceased inmate, to loved ones. They're at the school, and so we will be following this, and we will get back with you. Once again, this is the death of Kendrick Johnson, a 17-year-old black African-American male. Once again, we don't know. The headline says that there were no foul play. I've talked to some young people who discussed what was on Facebook. However, we know Facebook is not the professionals, so we wait to see what is going on, and we expect to be updated. Once again, KVCI, George Boston Rhymes.
Is it the whole system in together? Cause it ain't no way in the world that y'all don't see something. Is it the whole system in together? Cause it ain't no way in the world that y'all don't see something. Is it the whole system in together? Cause it ain't no way in the world that y'all don't see something.
This is KVCI, which means keeping Valdosta citizens informed. Many of you are already aware that Kenneth Johnson, a 17-year-old black African-American male, was found dead in the Lowndes County High School. Old gym, I'm told. Last night, when I arrived home, I got a call from the father who called me, and I went to his house. And he wanted me to call the state president, Edward DuBose, the NAACP, to look into this case. And I talked to Mr. Eddie Tooley, talked to Jacqueline, and I talked to others concerning the death of Kendrick Johnson. I've heard a lot of rumors about what took place. I'm not going to mention the rumors here today. I'm going to read the Valdosta Daily Times again, and I want to find out what actually happened. We have a record of Valdosta in terms of the news media, with members of law enforcement, as well as the citizens in terms of how they relate to tragedies that take place in the black African-American communities. The father called me a few minutes ago and told me he wanted to talk to the news media. I called Greg at Channel 6, I called Lee Henderson from Black Pro Media, and I'm going to call WALB TV. But just in case the news media do not cover this, I intend to put it on YouTube, because the citizens of Valdosta, Lowndes County, the state of Georgia, and the United States of America have a right to know what is going on. We are tired in this community. I just talked to a couple of young black African-American men who believe that law enforcement should move quickly in this particular case. I repeat, the word is that law enforcement should be thorough, they should be fair, and they need to keep the general public informed. That is from the young people. And I have been saying it for a long time. The people are fed up. And I believe that it is indeed time for Valdosta to move into the metro status wherein citizens will not be at the end of the agenda, and so the people will feel that they are a part of the economic power system here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, Georgia. This is clip one concerning the death of Kendrick Johnson at Lowndes County High School. We intend to do our best to give you the best, because you deserve no less here in Valdosta. I'm going to go and interview the father, the mother, and anybody else that are willing to talk But we cannot keep allowing this to happen. You know, less than a year, you're going to have one Gotti murder has been unresolved. In fact, we don't know what the status of it. They are planning right now, cleaning off Magic 95 out there, radio station, to have an event here pretty soon that's coming up. We are tired in Valdosta. How long do we have to keep saying this? And y'all excuse me for raising my voice. And I don't care if the preachers, the rabbis, the imams in Islam, if you don't say nothing, that's okay. But all of us can't be quiet. All of us can't bury our head in the sand and act like ain't nothing happened here in Valdosta and Lowndes County. And so I'm going to close. This is clip one. But we intend to keep you informed because you have a right to know. We give home to Moody Air Force Base, Kendall Golf Course, Georgia Military College, Wild Adventures Theme Park, Francis Lake Golf Course, Valdosta State University. And it is indeed time for the old 1860 mentality to suppress, abate, and control the people in Valdosta and Lowndes County and put us at the end of the agenda and only report from public meetings to the conservative radio station. Everybody has a right to know here in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia. I want to thank the people in Brooks County that called me a few minutes ago who live on Highway 133. I'm glad and thank the family of Mr. Johnson and Ms. Johnson for calling me, asking me to contact somebody in Atlanta, somebody in Baltimore, Maryland, because they need help. And can you believe, as I close, I was told, Eddie Tooley told me not one family member, listen, and I'm gonna close, not one family member was permitted to identify Mr. Kendrick Johnson's remains. That's what I'm told. I repeat, they were not even permitted, according to them, not me, that they did not even identify the body. The mother was given, according to me, according to what I heard last night. I didn't go to bed till 4:15. I called Larry Lockett, the district coordinator in Waycross. I called Edward DeGrove from Columbia.
And I just want to say that our detective department, they really failed us. Lied to us. Still lying to us. They told our specific question that I ID the body. They told me that they were going to let me do it. It never happened. Then they come and tell us there was no reason to suspect foul play. They said there was no marks on it, no bruises, no stabs or sharp wounds. But I found that to be a lie because eventually they told me that they would let me see a picture of him, one that they did on the computer. And when I seen that particular picture, blood was all over his face. Blood just don't run from nowhere. You gotta have somewhere to come from. And from all the stuff that I've found out and learned, I've even got a statement, a person that seen him, knew him. They said that he was fully dressed, but she told me that he was naked, but only for soccer. And so they lied to her. I called Detective Jack Williams to see if he could get down here and talk. But he had not returned my call. And she needs to know whether that's her child. From what I've seen on the paper, the way he was swole up, I imagine I thought maybe that was him, but I'm not absolutely sure. But that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to see his body, and they told me they don't let you see bodies like this, ID bodies. I have picked them up, taken them to the lab myself. And that is not their property. And they said there was nothing wrong with it, no reason to suspect foul play. Why in the hell would they want to take it to a crime lab if there ain't nothing wrong with it?
Why they won't let us identify it?
You just don't take bodies to crime lab when ain't nothing wrong, no foul play. So there had to be something going on, and they from the get-go, why did they have G.B.R. have to come in if there wasn't no fireplace? And we've been out there from that morning until about 5 or 6 o'clock, and they still didn't give us no clothes. That body does not need to leave Valdosta until there's a clothes to his mom, or one of us. I need that body, other than looking at that paper from the computer. I want to see him because that body, the picture that I saw, where he was swole and blood was all in his face. And the guy told me that when they took the picture, he was upside down, and when you're upside down, your blood runs through your head, and that's why the blood coming out there. Blood might run through your head, but it don't come out your head, unless for some other reason.
She needs closure, really. The hardest part is the closure part. And they haven't even begun to heal yet. She haven't even started to heal. She just needs closure. And they won't even let this woman see her child. She needs closure. And then when you go out and do something stupid, then you run on television because you need disclosure for your child. That's her baby. Not right. She needs closure. Yes, she really needs this closure. Really.
And what I seen was the only thing that was shown.
Thank you. A picture on a piece of paper.
Computer picture, and that was just the
head. No one but her.
They had him covered.
She needs this. She needs this. She really needs that.
And this is something that needs to be addressed. Why?
As well.
My question to them is why couldn't they go in to see their child when we were at the school? Why? When she go and look at her child.
They ID with material?
Even the position he was in,
if there was nothing wrong with it, no stab wound, no shot, no bruises on it, there was no reason not to be able to do it.
To just stand there and look at him, to let her know that
and say, yeah, that's my child.
Yes, or no, this is not my child.
Like I say,
What do you feel in the death of your son? What do you feel is hurting you most right now about the death of your son at Miles County High School, the old gymnasium?
All the lies that we have been told. I feel school has let my son down. I feel the county sheriff's department have let my son down, and they lied and lied and lied. Still lying today, right now.
How do you feel, now I'm not going to soundbite this, how do you feel about not being able to ID your son? Now, I'm retired military, so you really don't even know if he's really, I mean, you just don't know, do you?
I really don't know if that's really my son.
Do you know of any law, Brother Tully, do you know any law that forbids somebody from IDing their child?
Not in all my life. I worked with the funeral home for about 25 years or better, and we have picked up people that we had to wait until the family come out there before we could move them.
Now, Mr. Dooley, again, now you said something earlier. You said something about you are asking or demanding that the body not be taken out of Lowndes County, am I right?
Correct, until we are dead.
And in addition to that, if there's any law that keep them from listening to you or to the mother and father, wouldn't you like to know what law that is?
I would definitely like to know.
And wouldn't you like to know that the people that was shot up at the school, them parents, we saw them on national TV going out to ID them bodies, did we not?
Right, correct.
If they did it there, why can't Valdosta and Lowndes County? Now, that's regardless of whether it's the local, state, or federal government. If they did it on national TV and with the cameras rolling, do you all think that they should have a right to
Brother Ryan, one other thing I can't understand was I was told that there was no marks, no stab wound, no shot, no bruising, period, on his body. Well, if that's the case, why is we going to take him to a crime lab? Why is the G.B.R. here? Why is it that I can't see him if there's nothing wrong with him?
Okay.
That's still our property.
Okay, right.
It don't belong to the Lowndes County. It don't belong to the G.B.R. or the FBI. It still belongs to the family.
Yes, sir.
And why can't we have say-so of what we've done with our family?
All right. How do you feel about the law enforcement, city, county, G.B.R., FBI, who have come to you or your wife or the mother? I mean, how do you feel about that? If you haven't heard, what have you heard from them? What kind of closure do you have? Do you feel like you've been respected or disrespected?
We've been disrespected from the start.
And denied. Ain't nobody come talk to us.
We never have talked to any of the officers or the school. The school haven't even came and spoke with us.
Is anybody else have anything to say?
This family needs closure.
Yeah, I heard you say something.
This family really needs closure.
You a few minutes ago.
This woman needs closure for her son.
For her son, yeah.
Yes, she do.
Okay.
And if they do any autopsy or whatever, my husband was EMS. If they perform an autopsy on this child without this mother identifying this child, this town will probably be Johnson County instead of Lowndes County.
Amen.
Because it's illegal. My husband was EMS, and he said do not have the right to perform an autopsy on a person that has not been identified if they're not Jane Doe. He's been determined Kendrick L. Johnson.
Okay. All right.
But the mother hasn't determined that. They have to get closure.
Okay.
Any of the family members.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Let me make this clear,
Yes,
Brother Johnson.
yes.
Brother Ryan,
Yes.
they did let me see a picture that
Yes,
they made off of the computer. But that's not a KJ. That was a picture of whatever who that was down there. We don't know who that was, but he was swollen so bad that I feel like, you know, everybody say we black people all look alike. But I feel like I thought maybe that could have been him, but I'm not absolutely sure.
Okay. Now let me ask you another question. Okay, hold on a second. Now, I was listening to young folk yesterday. I had some young people come to me, and they began to tell me about that this may not just been something that just popped up like that. It could be more to it. But my question is to anybody up here, do you all think that maybe this may be with maybe some people that is connected with somebody that's connected with somebody, or what do you all think?
Yes, we do.
That's what I've heard. Now, I don't know, but in addition to that, the young people, you young people, go ahead, sis, I'm sorry.
The point is, it does not matter. The point is,
Brother Ryan,
at Lowndes High School.
Brother Ryan, it was said that he had got in a conversation with one of the G.B.R. sons that goes to that school, and some years ago, and they said that wasn't settled yet. So, and then I was told, we don't know for sure, but I was told that boy had something to do with it too. But yet still, we can't swear to this.
And you made it unequivocally clear, and I want y'all to listen to George Rams. We made it unequivocally clear that it's not a race issue here.
No,
what it's about is a human issue.
Yes.
It's a human rights issue. And it's a Valdosta, Lowndes County, and state of Georgia thing.
And why was the G.B.R. here?
Amen.
Why were they here if no crime was committed?
Okay, my son.
Again, I ask, how did he get in the gym in the first place? Where were the people? They supposedly had a game there that same night. Where the janitors? Where were they? The custodial workers. When the gym got cleaned, wasn't they supposed to clean it? Okay, where was his body? Number one. Number two, I want to know, okay, if this same night they cleaned up, he wasn't there. Whoever left out of that supposed to lock the door. Who unlocked the door for them to go in the next morning? How did he get in there the next morning after they locked the door? I want to know, these are questions that I want to find out. If he wasn't there when the basketball game practice was going on, he wasn't there when they opened the door that morning, and all of a sudden he just popped up in there. How did he get in there? Who unlocked the door to let the person in and put him in there? But we want to know, these are the questions that we won't answer.
Okay. Yes.
She gonna pray for me.
Good.
One other thing I want to say, Brother Ryan, it ain't over until God says it over.
Amen. Amen.
Father God, in the name of Jesus, Lord God, we come before you today with humble hearts, sincere thanks, Lord God. Father God, we ask you just to continue to bless this family, Lord God. Hold them in the hollow of your hand, Lord God. Father, we just pray for justice on today, Lord God. Your will be done in this situation, Lord God. Father, I pray for strength for this Johnson family, Lord God. That you would give them strength to hold out and to endure, God. In the name of Jesus, Lord God, we thank you, Lord God, for justice shall be served. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Thank y'all so much.
Who do you think has the power to break this system? And what do you think needs to be done? Like, who needs to be uniting together, you know?
Thank you very much. You are really nice and you are powerful. That is a powerful question. What could bring about that change is, as I said, if the football games were interrupted. Greetings, this is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines, and I'm standing in front of the Lowndes County High School, the school that I was banned from on May the 25th, 2013, for violating no law. Some people are banned and given trespass warnings because they violate the law. I was given a criminal trespass for not violating the law, and yet I was with the protesters in front of Valdosta State University a couple of days ago in protest over the desecration of the red, white, and blue United States of American flag. I served under that flag for over 21 years in the United States Armed Forces during the Vietnam era and other conflicts of our beloved nation. No one wants to see Old Glory desecrated, but there are those who want to make a point to the leaders in the state of Georgia, Valdosta, Lowndes County, and in the United States of America, and if not, around the world. They wanted the world to know about how black men, women, and their children are still being mistreated after 459 years here in North America. I'm here today to pinpoint in the next few minutes that I am under a criminal trespass by the Lowndes County Sheriff Department, Sheriff Prime. I was given this trespass right here as I was entering the graduation for Lowndes County students on May the 25th, 2013. Sheriff Deputy Thomas told me, with witnesses standing right over here, members of the KJ family watched in shock and awe as they banned me without justification or notification and without violating any law. Sheriff Deputy Thomas did not serve me any written communication. I did not know that I had been under such a warning, for Thomas said that I had been under this criminal trespass 2 weeks before I was trying to go into this graduation. So today, I remain under this criminal trespass. Lowndes County Sheriff Department and West Taylor say they have nothing in their records on me. Yet I'm still under this criminal trespass. I wrote the Sheriff Department, Superintendent West Taylor, and both said they had nothing on me in their records. Well, heaven, I already knew that. And so I wrote another letter. I asked them to state in writing why I was placed under a criminal trespass and to remove me from this trespass that I have tape recording on from Sheriff Deputy Thomas and the transmission over the Lowndes County radio. But they have ignored me. So the 25th of May marks 23 months that I could not go on the Lowndes County High School property for anything based upon the law that they gave me without justification or notification. So look, I had my friend, Reverend from Antioch Baptist Church, John Henry Robinson, to go to West Taylor. West Taylor told him, and we have it recorded, that the sheriff was working on something on me because he had found something in my record. Well, we know there's nothing in my record. And I want to add at this juncture that I've been stationed here from 75 to 79, my first duty station at Moody Air Force Base. Then I came back in 89, and from 89 to 2013, I had violated no law, never been under criminal trespass until Kendrick Johnson was found dead January 11, 2013 at the Lowndes County High School gymnasium. After that death, somebody chose to put me under a criminal trespass. I want to add, I got video footage up at the Board of Education wherein I spoke before they gave me this, how they let news media go on to that property and did not give them a criminal trespass. And so I'm going to close this out to say to all people in Valdosta, Lowndes County, in the state of Georgia, it's one thing to protest against the flag, but what happened when your children attend Valdosta State University or Georgia Military College, or if they are stationed at Moody Air Force Base, or if they want to travel to Francis Lake for a recreational weekend, or if they want to buy a home in Kenaloo Golf Course, or if you and your family want to go to Wild Adventures theme park, or if you drive your children to Valdosta High School or Lowndes County High School, and members of law enforcement in Lowndes County can stop you without justification, notification, or putting anything in writing and ban you for 23 months for nothing. It could happen to you as it happened to me. But look, I went to the probate judge and they said to me, did they give you anything in writing? I said, no. They said to me, how can they do that? Wait a minute, gonna get better in a minute. Then I went to the district attorney's office, David Miller, who was also involved with the crookedness of the Quitman 10+2 as it came out in the court case and as a matter of record in the transcript. And as Pastor Avery said, people in that case perjured themselves, but Lula Smart was cleared of all 30 or 40 charges that the state of Georgia brought up against her for alleged voter fraud and mishandling of absentee ballots. And then the other 11 people was also exonerated of all those charges by the state. So I went to the District Attorney David Miller's office, and the clerk told me, how could they do that to you when they didn't place anything in writing? She said, let me call the sheriff department, and she did. Look, going to get better in a minute. So I went to the federal court in the U.S. Post Office over here on Patterson Street. There was 2 Caucasian clerks working. When I walked in there, told them about what had happened to me, they said, how could they do that? And just like at the probate, they ran my driver's license, they found nothing on me. Then just like the district attorney David Miller clerk, they ran my name off my driver's license and they found nothing. The federal court said, or the federal system said, they would run it too. They ran it and they found nothing on George Boston Rhines. So what else did I do? So when Wes Taylor made the statement, and all this is documented, it's documented, not in Russia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, or Tajikistan, but right here where we stand, all this has been documented in the United States of America, where the red, the white, the blue, and you call home. And so, I went on after Wes Taylor told John Henry Robinson, and John Henry Robinson told me and let me listen to some footage that he had. And so I called Atlanta representative of the Justice Department when I heard that the sheriff was working something on me. Wes Taylor say the sheriff is working something on me, and that told John Roberts he would have to get back with me or the sheriff to find out what that was they was working on. And so when I called the Justice Department out of Atlanta, they told me that's serious, and so they were going to turn this over to the Georgia Attorney General. I don't know whether it was Sam Olens at that time or not, but they said they were going to turn it over to the Attorney General. And I am sure by now that the Attorney General of the federal government, hopefully under Eric Holder, have received my case. Yet nobody in the United States of America or NATO have even called me to try to remove this human being from this illegal, unjustified, uncalled for denial of my rights here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, the state of Georgia, and in the United States of America. Now, can I make it any clearer than that? Now look, if I am lying, Victor Blackwell of CNN, call me. Al Sharpton, MSNBC, call me. President Barack Obama, call me. The United States Justice Department, if you care about the justices and the rights of American citizens, and especially our active duty and retired military veterans, then call me and ask me, am I lying on Lowndes County High School Superintendent Wes Taylor, the Lowndes County Sheriff, Sheriff Prine, ask me, am I lying? And if I am lying, then I deserve to go to court and prove my innocence before a judge and jury and the people of America. But that you cannot do. You cannot disapprove the truth that this upright American citizen have stood for over 63 years, even as I carried the M16 and was a marksman in the military. Every time I picked up the M16, included in basic training, and wore the ribbon on my chest, willing to die for this country, only to return home like my grand uncle that lived in New York said he fought in foreign nations of the world for this country and came home and couldn't even get a drink of water at a water fountain, couldn't even register to vote. Yet the Germans that he fought against could come drink at the white water fountain, to come to this country and be treated as a full-fledged citizen. Yet if he had died for this...
Who do you think has the power to break this system? And what do you think needs to be done? Like, who needs to be uniting together, you know?
Thank you very much. You are really nice and you are powerful. That is a powerful question. What could bring about that change is, as I said, if the football games were interrupted, if these people find a way to not play football until some change come to Valdosta. In fact, I believe that sports perhaps is the only way that real change is going to come here.
Kendrick, Johnson, and Jacqueline for simply asking a question. Why could we not view the remains of our son? Why and who removed his organs and they can't be accounted for? Where is our child's clothes that we purchase for them? How could it be that information...
Hey, sir, can I stop you for a second?
Just a minute. Now,
okay, how long are you going to take? Because I can't be here all day.
Now, right now, I'm here's the Lowndes County Sheriff Department, the very people I'm talking about.
No, I'm about the police department.
The fellow police department.
Okay, I just need you for 30 seconds.
And what I want to do, I'm going to turn off the video because I want to listen to them. Now, yes, sir, what do you want? If they did this to me, and they did, they also can do this to you, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, and coming generations. Unless somebody is willing to stand up for what is right. I cannot go to any football game. I cannot go to any Board of Education meeting. I've been banned for 2 years and 5 months after the death of Kendrick Johnson, and I'm going to continue to talk about it until somebody in the United States of America see a need that this military, retired military veteran with over 21 years in the United States Armed Forces, until somebody say to me and those active duty members I left behind that somebody tell me where if they did this to me, and they did, they also can do this to you, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, and coming generations. Unless somebody is willing to stand up for what is right. This 14-year-old girl that were handcuffed with her face down at Pine Grove Middle School under Wes Taylor, the superintendent of Lowndes County Schools. When the mother and father went to news media to report what happened to their daughter, no news media until this day, after 99 days, much like mine, criminal trespass and denial of my constitutional rights, nothing has been reported in the news media in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia. And so we can only imagine how many more mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and parents have had the same thing to happen to them in the school system. And our local news media in South Georgia, we commend them for the outstanding work that they do. But at the same time, we must ask the question, why, oh why, did this mother have to cry out as you gonna see in this video? Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, KYRC, saying Know Your Rights campaign. There is something wrong here in the United States of America. Something wrong when a 14-year-old child can be charged with a felony, and then the people who they say she assaulted or hit send statements and say it never took place. The charges was not dropped against this young girl, black African-American type. We, the people of the United States of America, more especially those who have put their lives on the line in foreign nations, we better ask some questions today, or we are losing this republic, y'all. Now listen to this mother. Listen to her as she tell you her story and the lack of justice here in Lowndes County, Georgia. Listen, go ahead. Tell us what happened today. We at the Lowndes County Courthouse just got out with Judge Ellaby. Tell us what took place there, and did you receive justice for you and your daughter?
No, I actually did not receive justice because it was amazing to me. Judge Ellaby presided over the case when it was supposed to be Judge Terry Adams. I don't know why they put him over the case because he knows nothing, supposedly nothing about the case, but unfortunately they put him on the case, and his track record is not good when it comes to our black people and our black children. He has been known to put them in jail for the littlest things that don't even make sense for them to be incriminated for, and yet they allowed him to be over this case. That lets me know that this place is nothing but a setup, and just really a setup to make sure that this not lawyer, but the police officer does not get arrested. And it's amazing to me how things work here. There's no justice. There's no justice for my child. But it would be a different story if it was their child going through the same situation. Then they'd be crying, wanting somebody to help them. But because it's my child, and I guess because of her skin color, she doesn't matter. This judge was very nasty. On top of it, he was very rude, telling my daughter that he see with her grades, the only thing she'll be able to do is be a singer or an artist or a painter or something of that nature. That is derogatory because first of all, she had good grades and she's passed. And like I explained to him, she's making A's in her 9th grade now. She's an A student. Now what's your excuse for the comment?
Okay, let's back up a little bit now. What generated all of this? You gave us information, but on May the 24th, that been 99 days ago. The reason I know it because I'm under criminal trespass. The next day, the sheriff deputy lied on me, so it seemed like they lied on you the day before.
Yeah.
I mean, on your daughter. So that's 2 and 1. But look, let me ask you my beautiful. Let me ask you another question. I personally was in there, and I think that you did an outstanding presentation. So did your husband. But I just don't have no confidence in the Southern Judiciary. Period. I have a long history as the former president of the NAACP with Judge Ellaby. And he's been very controversial now, but to get back to what you said, to make it be pointed, who was the judge that's supposed to have been over this?
Judge Terry Adams. And the sad part about it, we were told from her that she was going to move the case over to the Supreme Court. Now, how did it get back into her case?
You mean Supreme Court, Superior Court? Superior
Court. And how did it get back in her file and then turn around, Judge Ellaby is over the case?
You also talked about, and you brought up the fact that what you was concerned about was the protection of other kids, so no other child would be handcuffed and taken down like a murderer. Really, you could not have taken a murderer down any worse than this 14-year-old child. And to sit here and watch Judge Ellaby do this, in my most humble opinion, to me it was a disgrace. I really must say that. But we have said it over and over again. There is something real wrong here in Valdosta and Lowndes County. Wouldn't you say?
Yes,
well, even not only that, my beautiful sister, excuse me for touching you, but check this. Wouldn't you say that even more disgraceful is that what happened to your daughter at Pine Grove Middle School and under Wes Taylor, who's the superintendent of the school? Isn't it more disgraceful that not one newspaper, not one radio that I know of or television station covered this whole thing? So how do you think these parents feel out here and the general people in this metro city? They don't even know not only about what is here today, but they don't know nothing about what happened at school and your child. What do you think about that?
I think it's a disgrace because the facts are the facts. He wanted me to present the facts, so I presented the facts. And how can you, based on the facts, showing that the teacher and the principal collaborated our story and collaborated what had transpired, and this officer wrote a false report and falsely arrest my daughter, say he's not guilty? Based on the facts I presented, showed the picture of her being arrested, showed the picture of emails from the teacher and the principal that he allowed to be in evidence, and yet and still he say that
he read it into the record. Am I correct?
Yes, he did.
He read it into the record. Now, but the thing about it, unless you appeal it or something like that, and since there were no news media about none of this, we can only imagine how many other people have gone through the same thing. I know I didn't violate it at all, and I'm in my 99th day, 98th day. She's in her 99th day. In a couple of days, it'll be over 100 days that I've been restricted without any one respecting my rights. any of the closing remarks, I think your husband did an outstanding job too. And you made it. Wait a minute. You clarified this. You made this very clear that you have knowledge in the law enforcement field to the judge. And why do you think that he seemed like he had trouble understanding what you say? Do you think it because he's white, he can't understand black folk? Why do you and your husband had to keep repeating? I understood what you all said very well. And I think that if anybody go back and listen to that tape, they probably ask the question, why did he have you all to repeat what you were saying when it should have been even understood by a person in kindergarten or third grade?
Not to mention, the reporter didn't have a hard time understanding while she was reading it into the notes. So how is it he had a hard time understanding? The judge's mind was already made up when he came into court, because based on the evidence that we presented, there is no way he should have came out unless without a guilty verdict. Everything that you brought up, including the pictures, the statement from Mr. G.B.R, who actually stated that your daughter didn't even hit her. And that's been and that was the base of the wasn't that a felony? Yes, that was the base of the felony. And yet and still, how can you say it was based on the felony? The people that were involved was based on it. We gave them information from those particular people, and you can't still justify and say that she did the act. That's falsifying records. I don't know where he got his degree from, but that's falsifying records. And if anybody, wow, this is heavy. To me, the precedent that was set today in this courtroom is this. The law enforcement, a sheriff deputy, can take any child, hog tie them, handcuff them, throw them to the ground, and charge them with a felony, suspend them from school for 5 days, force the parents to go out and get a lawyer in these hard economic times to defend their child. And if you don't have the guts, number one, and if you don't have the money, then you will plea bargain. That's it. You think that's what they want you to do? Yeah, that's what they've been trying to do. And, when we had the public defender, that was his main goal. Oh, we'll take the battery charge off if you just plea bargain to the fray and disrupting. But under the castle doctrine law, my daughter had a right to defend herself. She was attacked. That's the part that I'm still amazed of. She was attacked. But here's the thing. Maybe if we would have brought a white girl in and pretend that she was my daughter, there would be some sympathy. Wow. Let's go back to what got me, and this is why the Ghetto Free Press, KYRC, the Ghetto Free Press, KYRC, which means Know Your Rights campaign. This is why we're going to take it to the next level. They can come after me, but I will assure you that there's going to be somebody else that will pick up the camera, because this cannot go on. The Georgia Secretary of State, Georgia Attorney General, I'm saying to you, something is wrong in the state of Georgia, and Eric Holder of the Justice Department, I don't know why y'all getting paid up there. If you cannot see from what I have already presented, over 20 years of proof, documentation in a very professional military manner, which I was trained to do, and you still cannot come down and do something in this God-forsaken place called Lowndes County, Valdosta, and South Georgia in general. Now, the most important part, in my most humble opinion, we have missed. So let's go back before we close this out on the Ghetto Free Press. First of all, the judge told you when you asked for a continuance, he said that they sent it out to you on the 12th. Yes. After checking his records, he found out it was sent out on the 13th. The 14th. The 14th, which means you only had a few days, am I correct? Yes. To subpoena these people. Yes. When you ask for a continuance, I have seen people get continuance for little or nothing. Yes. And so, what do you think about him? Right off, it came to I said to myself from then, I said, you're not going to get into justice in this case, not under Judge Ellaby. No, that's what I said. I mean, I knew of him, and I knew his track record, and I know that I was not going to get any justice. I just pray that God would probably touch his heart, and he'll do the right thing for the first time in his life. But I guess he one of those people like Pharaoh. His heart is stone. And again, the history of Judge Ellaby go way back with the NAACP, the SCLC, Jesse Jackson people. Attorney Janice Mathis from Atlanta came down
concerning the problem that we had had. Now, if this particular case had been given some type of media exposure other than my YouTube, which I have over 250,000 views. So I got a call this morning, you may not know, I got a call this morning from Korea. People are watching this information, and they saying, what is happening in the New South? Well, this is what's happening in the New South, but you don't read about it in the Valdosta Daily Times, which means in years to come, when people pick up the Valdosta Daily Times and look at television video, they won't see none of this. Now, the Secretary of State made a statement in the Equipment Free Press a month ago, that if it's not published in the local newspaper, it didn't happen. Well, I'm not going to call the Secretary of State a lie because he was the one being interviewed. I'm not going to call the Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp, a liar, but I will say this. He is wrong. This particular case did happen because we just left out the courtroom, but nothing was published in no South Georgia news media. The Valdosta Daily Times, Kay Harris, are fully aware of it. Greg from Channel 6 are aware of it. People from 27, ABC, NBC are aware of this. So now we got to ask ourselves a question. How many other black children, or poor white children in particular, have been caught up in the same thing? But because we don't have a news media to report cases like this, then you all are, as I said before, deaf, dumb, and blind, because they don't want you to know.
Because at the end of the day, it's my daughter that's being affected. It's my household that's being affected. But no one seems to care about our well-being. It's as if we are nothing here. And it's sad to say, because she was unjustly done wrong. And now she's been unjustly done wrong by the court system. Time and time again, we're being justly done wrong. Who is going to stand up? These people go to church every Sunday saying they worship Jesus Christ, the Lord and Savior, but yet they have no heart to do the right thing. What book are you picking up? I just want to know what book, because he's a God of truth. And if you feel the truth, you'll do the right thing, and you'll make it known that what you have done is an injustice and it's wrong to an innocent 14-year-old who never should have went through this. She was assaulted. She was attacked. And we're going through the courts for people who don't seem to care nothing. What God you serve? If it's your white Jesus, he still say truth. Because the Jesus I know has no color. He loves all people and he does right by everybody. Get that Jesus. Because it's time out for the foolishness. You have enfranchised my family over and over again. You have hurted us tremendously. I am so broken over this. So distraught over this. I'm so tired over this. What is right. Do the right thing. And you people out there that happen to watch this, start calling the governor. Start making it be known. Maybe if we get a cry out, these people will do the right thing. Because justice needs to be prevailed.
One other question, my beautiful sister, I gotta ask you this. Did he show any concern whatsoever?
No.
Did he?
Oh.
Did he show any concern? Let me stand with you on this. I don't want you to stand alone on this.
I told him how much this was affecting our family. He showed no concern, no remorse. He was sarcastic. He talked down about my daughter as if to think that she can't be nothing but something little belittled. How is it my child can be belittled? She did not make bad grades. She graduated. She went to the next grade level. She's making honor roll like I said to him. So now, that same child that you looked at crazy like you was shocked, we're not ignorant poor blacks, okay? That you look down to. And you got the nerve to tell us to get a lawyer. We don't need you to tell us to get that. We know we need a lawyer in this place. We know we do. And then you talk about, oh, we got good lawyers in Valdosta. Who can trust the lawyers in Valdosta? To be honest with you, it was very hard for us to make a decision because of the fact who was going to present our daughter's case, who was going to do the right thing, who was not going to be bought by this system, who was not going to be afraid to stand up and speak out against the corruption and the enfranchisement that they have placed upon us. That's what we were concerned about. We don't want nobody taking our case who's going to sit there and lay down and not do nothing.
Again, this was my question. Did he show any concern to the fact that your number one, your daughter didn't hit nobody. Number two, that the people who started the fight was not even hog-tied, nor handcuffed, nor nothing. Well, they were charged, right? But it seemed as if, though, from looking at what happened to your daughter, wouldn't you not say that they seemed like they made your daughter look like the aggressor when all she was doing was defending herself even under some law that you stated?
Yes.
Close this out by expounding on that.
She was not the aggressor. She was defending herself. She was attacked by more than one child. And then he has the statement, the reason why we got resource officers in the schools for bad children. So what are you saying? All our children are bad? What determines they're bad? Their color? What determines they're bad? Because you read the statement, he read the statement, she had not been in trouble. His eyes buckled up like he was shocked and surprised. She had never been in trouble until that incident when she was attacked. He showed no remorse for what she's been going through. I had her to stand up so he could look her in the face and see how little and framed she is.
And your husband gave her weight versus the officer's weight,
yes.
200 and some pounds.
A plus.
And he also talked about how Mr. G.B.R. or somebody pulled her
yes.
out of the way, or
and
just
he's like 160 something.
yeah, just moved somebody over. Yet this deputy, who's a trained professional law enforcement officer, couldn't handle the situation without
tackling her. There's a matrix. When someone escalate, you escalate. When they de-escalate, you de-escalate. The situation was de-escalate. The teacher had already had her calm, standing to the side when he tackled her. That's the facts. There was no reason for him to do that because I don't know what their mindset was. I know the matrix. That's something you learn in law enforcement. There was no justification for what he did. And then to falsify the records after you have the teacher, after you have the principal stating she did not touch anybody, that alone was evidence that this case should have been thrown out. He should have been arrested. That alone, because it proves the facts.
So nothing will happen to that officer. He won't be counseled.
No.
He won't be reprimanded.
He won't be
talked to and say.
And he's able to do it again to somebody else's child.
Now, if he falsified the records, that means in his mind or anybody would take that as a precedent that you can lie, you can say that you struck individual, which is a felony in the state of Georgia, that it's okay to do that. Am I correct? In other words, any child at the school.
This is not the first time a teacher or someone in authority has lied on a student and said they were struck. This is not the first time. I've heard of several cases that this has happened in this city. So they're just giving them an okay stamp to say we can do this over and over again to the children.
Let's add one other thing. Now, do you think the Georgia Attorney General, Sam Olsen, approves of this, number one? Or number two, do you think that the Georgia Bar Association will look at these records and will look at what Judge Ellaby did here today? And do you think they could find something that they may need to look in it to make the parents get some type of confidence in a system that their children will be protected at the schools in the state of Georgia, if they look at it?
If they look, they will find the truth. Bottom line, they will find the truth and they'll find evidence to prove that something needs to be done. That's the key word, if they look at it. If they take the initiative to come down and check the records and see for themselves what really goes on in these school systems, they'll find plenty of evidence and plenty of proof that injustice has been done in the school system. And they just gave this officer the okay to continue to do what he's been doing, lying, deceiving, and writing false reports and falsely arresting children. My daughter, that's what they failed to realize. My daughter is the victim. She is the victim. And I guess if you want to make it plain as day, black and white.
In fact, if you have proven that, and you tried to explain to him, am I correct, that the video spoke for itself?
Yes.
You outlined it so beautiful. I watched it, and I'm at least of average intelligence, and military say slightly above. And I understood clearly what you said. It seemed as if though he didn't really want you to say that.
No. He didn't want me to say anything about the video. He didn't actually want to put the emails in, but I kept insisting on it. I kept insisting on, look at the video. The video tells it for itself. but he refused to. His mind was made up when he first came here. He thought he was dealing with a child that had a bad, was bad in school and got into an altercation. That's his mindset, because like he said, I used to be on the juvenile justice, on the juvenile court. So your mindset is that every child is bad. Every child is not bad. Every child does not get into trouble. Unfortunately, my daughter was attacked by people she thought that were her friends. That was caused this altercation. She thought these were her friends, so there was no reason for her to be like, on guard, because she thought these girls were her friends. And they attacked her on the last day of school. That's the bottom line. She is suffering from this.
Once again, I think that I'm going to provide you a copy of this video, and there's a possibility that you can send this. And I think you personally, I think you need to request a transcript from what happened and took place here today, and send it to the Justice Department, the Georgia Attorney General, and the Georgia Bar Association. The Georgia Bar Association got to find out what's going on here in the Southern Judiciary. This is why I have been saying from day one, the Quitman 10+2 in Brooks County, it almost is over 3 years and they have not gone to court. I just don't believe that you can get justice nowhere in the Southern Judiciary. Go ahead.
I just want to also instate, while we're in court, because he was like, where's your lawyer? Oh, your lawyer probably did not want to be a part of this because he knew that was wrong. First of all, our lawyer did not tell us any of the such. Matter of fact, I would tell you what he said, but I won't do that right now because of the simple fact that's going to be taken care of at a later date. But he never advised us not to do as such. He saw the evidence himself. Your public defender saw the evidence, and he saw that she was innocent. That's probably why he excused himself. And then this particular lawyer you gave me don't want to do his job. That's why we have to get our own lawyer. It is not that our lawyer, or we didn't, our lawyer said, oh, he don't want to touch that. That is not the truth. You need to stop lying on folks, and you're supposed to be a judge. That's just the bottom line. You can't make accusations, and you don't know what transpired. We know that we need a lawyer. We didn't bring the lawyer because the lawyer is representing our daughter. We didn't know that we had to use him for this particular case. We wanted the separation, to be honest with you, because we didn't want nothing that could not be used, that was used in this case, not be used in the next case.
Okay, you've stated earlier, I'm so sorry it's taking so long, I wasn't planning on talking this long, but you also stated earlier, and your husband as well, that you got that case going on. But if I have Tim, your husband, correctly, he said that the reason why he went to the other judge, they don't know nothing about what you went through just to get that done.
Yes.
And enough emphasis can't be put on the fact that when you want to file a complaint, whoever at the sheriff department and top level management said they didn't even have any forms for you to make a complaint.
No.
And so in Lowndes County, it seems like as if though we back in the 30s.
There must be something going on, because I see the police department, I see the news people, media coming out to speak now, but when we needed someone to talk concerning us, they didn't show up. But they want to show up now, I guess, to hear what they had, that he found innocent. But yet it's still the evidence proved that he was guilty.
And once again, I personally called the news media, left a message. I called the Valdosta Daily Times, told them about that this was taking place. We are going to continue. We are going to continue to keep the news in front of the American people here in the state of Georgia, because I believe that you all have a right to know.
So if those evidence was not accurate, why did he make it permissible in the court? Why did he put it into evidence? So if they were saying, oh, there was missed stuff quoted, he took those emails and put it inside in the court case. So all of a sudden, now all of them here to do what? To do what? Yeah. Now they can come and show up now. But when I was trying to present the case concerning my daughter, I couldn't get nobody to show up. But now, what is it? You go ahead and record it.
Okay. Once again.
WCTV.
Channel 6.
And 27.
Channel 6.
They here now, but they couldn't come here to do what we asked.
Channel 6 and Channel WALB is here as well. Yeah. But those are for other issues, I'm sure. And we can see that this has always been the case here. And this is what we've been talking about. Here in Valdosta, in Lowndes County, and in the state of Georgia, there is something seriously wrong. And as this mother here said, she knows something wrong. We in the black community have been knowing something was wrong. The only difference now is...
It's not heard because of my skin tone, and I am not a racist, and I'm hurt because where I grew up in Miami, and if you know anything about Miami, there's all nationality, and we all get along. But
moving to Georgia and the South part of the side, I found out race is a big issue. And because my daughter is a black child, she can't get no justice. She can't get no justice.
Can't even get news coverage.
She can't get news coverage because she's a black child. But if it was a white child, they would be lining up for days just to hear what we have to say. And it's sad. The skin tone, because we're coming against somebody that is of another race, we can't get our justice.
Once again, this is the Ghetto Free Press, KYRC, Know Your Rights campaign.